So for me, I was done with chemo, I was done with radiation, I was done with surgeries, at least for now, and I kind of thought I was in the clear for a bit. And then I thought I was going to cut my hands and feet off because they hurt so bad. What am I talking about? Neuropathy. Oh my word. I had heard of neuropathy. I knew other people that dealt with neuropathy. I just didn't get it. And until you have nerve pain, I'm not entirely sure you get it either. Nerve pain is a different animal unto itself. I think we've all had that time that we slept on our arm funny and you wake up and your hand's kind of tingly and maybe sometimes you can't even feel it, right? Take that and make it during the whole day, but incorporate pain with that. And then for me specifically, the part that really sent me over the edge and needing to talk with my doctors was, you ever been outside and your hands get so cold that they hurt, right? You're on that verge of frostbite type pain. It's like that for me in my hand, but it's so cold it feels like it's on fire. There were multiple nights that I was screaming into the pillow because I didn't want to wake anybody else up. But my hand, and there's nothing I could do about it. My hand just hurt. It's not something that I could put pressure on, or I'd go put a cold wrap on, or a warm wrap on, or I'd soak it, or I'd take an Advil. None of that would touch the pain. So what do you do about neuropathy? Now, I know there are different drugs out there and there are different reasons people get neuropathy. So y'all's story is not necessarily going to be my story. Or hearing what I have to say isn't going to necessarily make sense of why your dad or your husband or your sister or your mom has these pains. But for me, most likely at this point, it's that neuropathy was caused by the various chemos I was on. I was on 5 different chemos and about 3 of them could cause neuropathy. And basically, your nerves aren't sending signals correctly. Sometimes they're dead, right? And just how your body understands pain and receives pain and talks about pain through your nerves, it's messed up with neuropathy. And so for me, about 95% of the day, my hands are numb to some degree. I can't feel my fingertips a whole lot right now. They're also uber sensitive. So one of the things that I actually hate doing right now is washing my hair. My hands feel so sensitive to it where they do feel that it hurts. It's almost as if you had spent the day working with like burlap and then your hands are kind of raw. They're obviously not, right? But that's how they feel. And then for me, it's also in my feet. And a lot of times with my feet, they feel like back when I was a kid growing up in Texas, we'd play outside for hours, barefoot, mind you. And it'd be on that hot concrete, but your feet got used to it. But at the end of the day, maybe they have a little bit of burning feeling. They're a little bit tender. So when I go to bed at night, a lot of times my feet feel like I've been running around on hot concrete. They feel like they have a fever. They feel like they have a sunburn. But when I get up to walk on them, the best descriptor I can give you with my feet is if I'm walking on rocks and there's nothing between my bone and the rock. Like there's no padding. And this would often be, I'm very careful to not walk around a lot without socks and shoes on, or I have like house slippers now because I'm 85 years old these days. I always want to have padding on my feet, and it helps, but it doesn't help a whole lot. So for me, that's how neuropathy feels. And if you're seeing this or you're listening to this and you're like, that's not how my neuropathy feels, I'd love for you to explain, because I'm all about learning more how this affects people. And I'd like for this to be a forum to where other people could share what's going on with them. Because I think the more knowledge we have, it's just empowering to kind of know what's going on with our bodies or to be helpful to someone else. Now for me, I've been put on gabapentin, which is a pretty common drug for neuropathy. We started at 100, we're up at 600 now. And I also take a supplement called alpha lipoic acid, which is supposed to help with nerves. I also take 600 milligrams of that. Those two have helped to the point that I don't get those searing pains at night, but they don't take away everything. And I don't know that we'll ever be able to take away everything. However, I was also recently diagnosed with carpal tunnel, so here's hoping that that's actually a good chunk of my hand pain, and maybe that can be reduced by dealing with the carpal tunnel. Now, for me, it gets a tish bit more complicated here because I also take, and this has been in some of my other videos, a drug in the AI category or the aromatase inhibitor category. That's what suppresses estrogen in my body because my cancer was feeding off of estrogen along with a few other hormones. And the AIs, for me, create some pretty intense joint pain. So you take neuropathy, you take joint pain, and you take carpal tunnel, and I have a pretty awful recipe for not feeling great a lot of the time. This is really where the brunt of my pain comes from. I don't think it helps that I've also gained a lot of weight after my hysterectomy, so it's just not looking good in that direction. All that is to say, there are things to help. I don't know that there's anything that's going to cure the neuropathy, but I've also gone for massages. I'm also currently doing, by the way, if you're going for massages and you have cancer, make sure you're going to someone that can do an oncology massage because it is different than what a normal massage would be, and they know more about what they can do and how they can touch your body in ways that would be helpful. That's very important. I don't know enough about it to give you more advice than that, but make sure you're going to a masseuse that can do an oncology massage. I'm also going to acupuncture, which that probably has given me the most relief at this point. I really, really, really like going to acupuncture, and I would highly suggest checking that out. If you have someone in your area you could go to if you're dealing with neuropathy. I also use some different CBD, sometimes they have THC in them too, creams, and also creams that have some menthol in them because that cooling sensation from the outside on my skin can sometimes especially help my feet when they feel like they're burning. There is a whole wide world of things out there to help. And I would say check them out. Because if you're dealing with neuropathy, it can be a life changer. It can make things really hard to do. Your hands and your feet are kind of vital parts of what we try and do in life, right? How we accomplish things. And so find those other things that can help you. Have conversations with your doctor about that pain. But for me, it's been a steep learning curve on what else is out there, what else I could do, and just trying to figure out how to manage kind of every day with this new pain. Oh, one thing I forgot is because of the carpal tunnel, I have been sleeping with braces at night on my hands. I find them to be extremely uncomfortable, but they do reduce that pain. So again, have conversations. Maybe you have multiple things going on. Maybe neuropathy is just awful. Maybe you found a med that really works for you. Maybe you have an alternative idea that's helpful. I would certainly love to hear it because I'm all about trying to reduce the pain from neuropathy and increase my quality of life. So if you're dealing with neuropathy, it stinks. Keep finding ideas out there that might be helpful, and then please share them with all of us.